So I've been trying to decide on a career path recently, and I was trying to think of something that I could incorporate my undeniable charm and roguish good looks into. And what I settled on was becoming an adult film star. And I actually got my first gig here in LA. I'm going to be starting 2 weeks from now. And I'm really, really excited for it. I'm going to be filming a group sex scene with a couple of people that I've actually never met before. But one thing that's really cool about the adult film industry is that they're really good about just making you feel really comfortable with everyone. You just get a lot of time to just hang out with them and learn about them and become friends before you actually engage in any activity. So I feel like this is a really exciting opportunity for me. I hope you guys are on board with it as well. I really hope you guys wish me luck because I feel like this is something I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and I finally made it. I'm going to be starring in some scenes. So I'm just kidding, boys and girls. I'm not gonna be a porn star. I'm just joshing. Just relax. I'm still gonna be a Total War commentator. This was a 2v2 or 1v1, sorry, that I played the other day. Carthage versus Rome. RTK Imperator is on the other side, and he's gonna be playing as the Romans, and I'm gonna be on Carthage. Now, what I think about Carthage on this patch, it's kind of interesting because previously on Rome 2, I feel like there were some patches where Carthage had a distinct advantage. Certainly when elephants were a very strong unit, I think they were probably a better faction at some points. If you used your elephants really well, you could just crush Roman infantry. At the moment, though, I feel like the legionary cohorts and some of the cheaper Roman swords, of course, they've always been known for having really cost-effective sword units, but it's pretty difficult to cut through all those guys. Now, Hoplites got a buff. Carthage is certainly not a bad faction on this patch at all. And the hoplite buff definitely helped Carthage a lot because a lot of their units are hoplites, and the cheap ones like late Carthaginian hoplites, they can actually stand up to swords for a while. What becomes difficult though is when Rome brings this many swords. I'm facing 8 swords right now. He has 6 legionary cohort, 2 praetorian guard, which is an interesting decision from him. But you don't see those too often. You don't see the elite of the elite swords very often unless you're like the barbarians. Like the Oathsworn, you're still going to see those. But yeah, with Rome, you don't see Praetorian Guard too often now. But it's an interesting matchup. I think it can be even. I still think Rome is probably a better faction. But looking at army setups right now and just compositions in general, I have a pretty clear-cut skirmish advantage. I've got 2 Balearic Slingers and 3 Cretan Archers. And opposite me, he has 3 Auxiliary Syrian Archers. So I should be able to win a skirmish fight. Cavalry is pretty even in this matchup, actually. He has 2 legionary cavalry, or 3 legionary cavalry, and his general, and then some vigiles and some auxiliary infantry on the flanks, with those swords in the middle. What I'm going to try to do this battle is, of course, neutralize any skirmish units he has first. Getting these guys off the field will be very important. But he has a rush army right now. Like, he's got the 3 archers, but he's going to be looking to press his sword advantage. He feels like he can take a melee fight, and he's right. Really, the only unit that can go toe-to-toe with his melee units that I have is the Sacred Band. Now, the late Carthaginian hoplites, Libyan infantry, they're going to be able to survive in melee combat for a while. Certainly, if I micro them effectively and get my archers shooting in on them, I'll be in pretty decent shape. But if I just left them to their own devices and just let my late Carthaginian hoplites fight his Roman infantry, of course I'm going to lose that fight. So I'm going to be trying to avoid a melee engagement for as long as I can. Now, what's going to happen here is RTK Imperator is going to send his legionary cavalry up the middle and try to take out some of my archers. Now, obviously, I don't want that to happen. I kind of miss my micro my cavalry here and send the Carthaginian cavalry into them, but I didn't really get a good charge off. In fact, I'm not even sure I got a charge off. And actually, you can see his legionary cavalry kind of got caught up on mine as well, and they didn't get a charge on the archers like they were trying to do. But neither of our units got very good charges. The problem is that he has spears backing it up. The auxiliary infantry, these have a bonus of 20 versus large units. So as soon as they get into melee, it's going to kind of start being scary for me. I have started killing a lot of his Syrian archers. One of the units is pretty much already down to useless. But he's trying to get his swords into melee, and I'm like, I can't take this engagement yet. I have not done anywhere near enough skirmishing yet. So quickly pull everything out. I'm going to lose half this cavalry unit. That kind of sucks, but I kind of want him to get really spread out and leave his back line kind of exposed. I want these archers to not have anything. I want him to, or anything to protect them. I want him to push forward and get really kind of disorganized in his attack. I think he's actually doing an okay job right now. He's going to send his legionary cavalry directly into spears. Certainly not what you want to do, but he's going to notice it and pull out. And he keeps trying to get at my archers. If my archers die here, I'm going to be in big trouble, just straight up. Like, they are my one trump card in this battle. If I lose my skirmishers early on, absolutely no chance of winning this. I mean, if you look at the balance bar, it's already way in his favor, and that's just because of the sheer numbers of men he's brought. So one thing I've been doing recently as well, I've been keeping spears, and of course this is not new tactics, a lot of players do this, but keeping spears close to your cavalry is very important. Spears can always turn a cavalry fight in your favor, and that's what I've been doing here. I put the Sacred Band over on my right flank to keep up with some of my cavalry over there, and then I put another cheap late Libyan hoplite with some chevrons over on my left flank, just to keep them next to my cavalry, make sure that I can turn a cavalry fight in my favor should one occur. So I'm finally like, okay, I don't know, I feel like he's going to catch me, I'm going to commit my troops. This may end up being a mistake. We're going to go further into the battle and we'll see how this progresses, but I feel like I might have engaged a little bit too early here. My skirmishers really haven't had a lot of time to do as much damage as I'd like them to, and I haven't been able to shoot into the infantry at all. I've only been killing the auxiliary Syrian archers, so be that as it may, I still do have a good position with them. They're going to be able to fire into the melee grind. And over on my left flank, I'm taking a cavalry fight, going to use the late Libyan hoplites to just tie down some of these sword units, and then get a flanking charge off with the Carthaginian cavalry. And with that charge, and these two cav units, I should be able to crush that legionary, take that off the field, and then bring the cavalry over here and into the archers. That's the idea anyway. Over on this flank, I got my Sacred Band around, and I'm going to get a rear charge off. Now, one thing it is important to remember about hoplites in general on this patch is that you can use shield wall after you've engaged, and that's one way to make your hoplites last way longer than they normally should. Once you've engaged with an enemy unit, you just hit hoplite wall, and they're going to be able to use their shields, interlock them, and stay in melee for a lot longer and get their defense much higher. So I am going to charge in from the back here with the Sacred Band. But one thing I forgot to do, like I said, you can use your shield wall. I haven't used that on any of my hoplites. I simply just forgot about doing it this game. So I haven't actually used that tactic at all. That's kind of a gamey system. Like, in reality, of course, if you were in the middle of a melee engagement, you wouldn't be able to interlock your shields like that in an organized fashion. So not very realistic, and that probably is something that CA didn't intend to happen and might get fixed on later patches. But as of right now, it's still in the game, and it's something that I should have taken advantage of. My right flank's going okay. This Libyan infantry got completely surrounded by legionary cohorts, so they're going to die. But my Sacred Band also got a flanking charge. And they don't have a lot of kills right now, but they will start racking up the kills very well. So let's put it back into fast motion again. My middle is going to crumble. He has legionary cohorts behind me. My hoplites are already getting wrecked in melee against legionary cohorts. There's no way I'm going to win that fight. I just need to try to tie them down for as long as possible. So, looking at it now, it doesn't look very good for me. The balance bar is shifted even further into his favor. Again, the one advantage that I have are these skirmishers, and they are going to have a lot of time to shoot in to the melee grind. But right flank is going okay for me at the moment. It was really good that I got my cavalry on the left flank into these archers. One thing that kind of surprised me, though, is I'm going to kill this first archer very easily, and once I bring these other cavalry units in, I'm going to actually start having a lot of trouble. Now, he managed to start shooting at them from point-blank range, so they're going to be dying, and I'm not going to be able to kill those archers as quickly as I would have liked, which made me a little sad. But this is interesting here. This is something that I've always thought was kind of an interesting thing in Total War. When you get a flanking unit around the side and you see that they have a bunch of skirmish units, what do? There are two options. You can chase after the skirmishers with this unit, which will leave your melee units on an island, and you can't reinforce with them, or you can choose to backcharge the enemy units you flanked, but not chase after the skirmishers, giving me time to shoot you in the back. In this case, he's going to go for the flanking forces, and he's going to get into the back of my Libyan infantry, and in this case, it's going to be a very bad trade for him. He has a full-strength Praetorian Guard here, 160 men in the unit, and they are going to turn their backs, and they are going to get shredded. That's one volley from each of my archers. They're down to 120 men, and their armor and HP drops and continues to drop they're going to be dying really quickly, and this is a 1300 talent unit that's going to die in a matter of about 15 seconds. That was a bad trade for him. Yes, he killed my Libyan infantry, but Libyan infantry cost me, what, 750, 760 talents, something like that? He lost a Praetorian Guard for that. So that was a bad trade from him. And my skirmishers are still making their presence felt. It's very interesting, actually. My general is really low, and so is his. I'm trying to find his general right now. Where is his general's right here. And I saw it, and I was like, okay, I really need to chase them off. Little bit of a bad job microing here. I could have made the width of my formation smaller and had them not get caught. I'm going to end up not being able to catch that Legatus. If I had caught them here, game might have changed a little bit. But I'm not going to be able to. So, where are my Sacred Band at? My Sacred Band are in there, and they are surrounded, but they're tanking like a boss. They've got 100 kills right now, only lost 40 men. I mean, they're only killing Vigiles right now, but the Legionary Cohort are also some units they're fighting. And yeah, they're doing a really good job for me. It's interesting right now because it feels like I have no chance of winning this battle. If you just look at the balance bar and if you look at what's left, he has so many melee units, I just have ranged units. But on this patch, as you guys know, melee fights last a long time. It gives skirmishers time to shoot in. So he has all these really expensive units, Praetorian Guard. I'm going to target them, and they're going to die. They've been in melee combat for a while. They're getting hit in the face with slings and archers, so my guys are honestly doing alright. Like, he has way more units than I do at this point, but there are still ways to win this battle. One of my Carthaginian cav came back from routing. I'm going to charge them into the Syrian archers. And yeah, this is going to be the unit that I think they fight them for like the rest of this battle. Like, I just cannot kill these Syrian archers. It was very frustrating. But I only had 20 men left in that Carthaginian cav, so it's not completely surprising. Sacred Band really starting to make their presence felt now. 150 kills. Just tying up all of these units over here. And then his melee units have finally broken through the middle, and they're chasing in. So, okay, in a situation like this, where you have skirmish units and you're being chased by enemy melee units, there's one thing that's really important while you're microing your skirmish troops that you have to take advantage of. You need to hit the melee units from as many angles as possible. If you're just hitting them all from the front, the shields, the scutum for the Roman infantry is going to be blocking a lot of that damage. And if you make all of your skirmishers run in the same direction, say I picked both these units and ran backwards together, then he's basically tying down 2 units with 1 infantry unit. Instead, what you're supposed to do is have 1 skirmish unit flare out that way, 1 skirmish unit flare out that way, and then you can target them and alternate shots into that melee unit. I ended up running out of ammo with this mercenary Cretan archer, so I had to commit them into melee. This is fine though. They're out of ammo. They've fulfilled their purpose. They have 100 kills. Tie down this cohort and turn around with my Cretan archer and try to kill that as fast as possible. And I'm going to be running out of ammo with a lot of my stuff soon, so I have to make these shots count. He's going to reinforce that and try to kill that Cretan archer, and he's going to turn his back, which again is a pretty big mistake. Like, there's no reason for him to do that. It was just a Cretan archer, like the cohort would have killed them by themselves. So he's going to turn his back, and it's going to give me time to shoot in. And see, I already ran out of ammo with another one, so I'm going to have to commit that one to melee as well. The good thing is that my slingers have a bunch of ammo left, and you can see doing a lot of damage to these cohorts from behind. So that unit fulfilled its purpose for sure, and I'm doing a lot of damage there. Sacred Band, still tanking. 222 kills now. Again, a lot of them are on Vigiles, but it doesn't matter. It's tying up a whole section of his army. I didn't put them into phalanx formation. I really wish I had, because they would have survived even longer, but they've definitely done a lot of work for me. Very happy with how they performed in this battle. And again, trying to tie down all these melee units as I can in the middle and shoot them with my remaining ammo. Over here, finally gonna kill a Syrian archer and then reinforce with my general's bodyguard. I really wanted to kill his gen at this point, and I'm actually not gonna be able to do it. He's gonna pull out just in time, I think, and get away, so that made me a little sad as well. But now I have 2 melee units left. I have the Sacred Band, and I have the Libyan infantry, and I have my general's bodyguard, so I guess 3, if you count my general's bodyguard. Sacred Band are definitely about to die soon. As soon as that legionary cohort gets over here, they're going to be sandwiched and die. But this unit is getting isolated, and again, I think this was a mistake on his part. He's going to send it up kind of by itself, unsupported, and I still have ammo. So I'm definitely going to be able to shoot in and do some damage there. Now, okay, I was wondering where his cavalry was, because he did have a cavalry unit. So he does have an auxiliary or a legionary cav that he's going to pull out of the melee fight, and I just have to kind of commit my slingers in there. They were out of ammo, and I wasn't going to be able to run away. So, actually they might not have been out of ammo, but I wasn't going to be able to run away from them. So I just clicked an attack order, and he's going to chase and try to kill this one too. And this is starting to look really bad for me. How am I going to win this? Sacred Band's about to get killed from behind. Actually, no, I tied them down for a little bit. So Libyan infantry's in there. But I managed to rout that auxiliary, or the legionary cav, and I'm going to kill this legionary cohort as well. So, yeah, like I said, even though balance bar really far in his favor, game is not over yet. Sacred Band's still fighting it out. And I'm going to surround this legionary cav. Wow, that's not cavalry, that's legionary cohort with my archers. I only have one skirmish unit left with ammo still. So I was kind of surprised at how well they do in melee here. They're actually going to rout this cohort as well. Sacred Band finally gets routed, get charged in the rear, so they're dead. And we're going to just put it into slow motion again one more time. I have a general's bodyguard. My general's still alive, but 5 men left in the unit. I have a couple green archers with no ammo, and then I have 1 Balearic slinger with ammo. And this Libyan infantry. They're all going to try to collapse in and kill this Libyan infantry, and I decided I need to send my general's bodyguard here. This is where it's important. If my Libyan infantry routes at this point, no way I'm going to win. It's just surprising at how well these guys are doing in melee though. Like, they're actually killing legionary cohorts and routing them, and I think it's because his general might have... I think his general's dead at this point. Yeah, his general's dead. So he actually was getting morale shocks, and that was starting to cause some wavering problems for him. So you can see this isolated legionary cohort as well, already in red morale. I'm in green morale because my general's still alive. And I just routed another one of his swords. It just feels like when you're playing against Rome, they just have unlimited swords. It's so frustrating. I routed so many of these units. I brought the balance bar all the way back to middle, and then I look at his units and he still has a bunch left. So 4 men left in my general's 5 men left in the general's bodyguard. I just have to try to hammer and anvil with them and hope that's enough to cause a chain rout. It's causing morale shocks. They're in trouble, and I'm gonna win this engagement over here as well. Commit my slingers into melee from behind, and it looks like I'm gonna be able to rout this exhausted cohort as well. So as soon as I wrap that up, I'm gonna try to reinforce. Libyan infantry are surrounded, but I'm going to keep trying to hammer and anvil with my general. And that guy's floating in the air, so that's pretty weird. I haven't seen that glitch in a long time on Rome 2. And I keep trying to hammer and anvil, wavering. One more should do it. One more should break them. And now I'm starting to waver as well. So they routed. And that kind of made me sad because I have to send the general's bodyguard into the back of my own troops. Doesn't do any damage to me, but it kind of wastes the hammer and anvil charge. And it's all up to this Libyan infantry at this point. They've got 50 men left in the unit. If they rout, I'm going to have nothing to hammer and anvil with. So it's really just going to be a grinded out melee fest for the end here. Get my general, do one more hammer and anvil. It's looking good for me at this point. I was really excited. I thought I was going to do it. And then the Libyan infantry routes. So it's it's a Balearic slinger and a Cretan archer with half strength, and my general with 4 men, and that's all I have left. General is actually still alive, but at this point, it doesn't matter. Roman infantry at this point is just going to be able to cut through the remainder of my guys. And despite my repeated attempts at hammer and anviling and surrounding his last swords, I'm not going to end up routing this unit. It was a really close battle, and I think Imperator played really well, especially considering the fact that he hasn't played Rome 2 in months. This was one of the first games he had coming back, so I think he played pretty well. I will say, I think that at least some of it had to do with the faction. I feel like Rome wins this matchup right now. I could have played better. He played well. I'm not taking anything away from him. He I'm taking a little away from him. He played really well. I think I played decently well. But, yeah, cutting through all those swords with Carthaginian hoplites and without a real distinct cab advantage was difficult. I feel like my skirmish advantage, the way I pressed that, was pretty good. I mean, if we look at the kills, almost all of them got 100 kills. Some of them were edging up towards 200 kills. And it was about as close a battle as I could have asked for, honestly. It was really good. So I want to say thank you to RTK Imperador. He played really well. And yeah, I mean, my skirmish units did really well for me. Hoplites did not. Certainly if I had popped Phalanx formation after the melee engagement started with them, they would have lasted longer and done more killing. So that was a mistake on my part. One of my Libyan infantry did absolutely nothing, but then again one of his Praetorian Guard did absolutely nothing, so pretty good trade-off for me there. I was pretty happy with how I played. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. In case you missed it, not going to be a porn star, although I think it'd be kind of fun. I'm not doing it. We're just being weird. And yeah, so I have a bunch of replays to cast still, and I don't know. You guys are probably going to be seeing a lot of Lusitani from me in the near future. I kind of have a love affair with them at the moment, so we'll see. I mean, I'm going to be casting a Lusitani replay here, I think, next, and that will probably go up a few days after this one. But regardless, that's kind of off track. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you all later. Indie Pride, signing out. Peace.